Hey guys, good to see you back on the channel. So we have some interesting stuff to talk about when it comes to Battlefield 6 today. Recently, some Ripple Effect top dogs actually did an interview with IGN and they've talked about some interesting stuff. Crossplay and cheating was one of the topics that they've actually talked about. We've got information on console performance and even the FPS they get, the resolution you can play the game on. We're going to talk about leaks and how developers are actually working with them, their opinion about leaks and those kind of stuff. Auto spotting is now getting toned down big time. Like, it considerably gets toned down, basically nerfed so that you won't be able to see everyone anywhere they hide. And if you don't know what auto spotting is, I'm going to tell you in just a few seconds. Also, we're going to talk about cosmetics, how they will be grounded for a while. And we also have a new key binding option which allows players both on console and on PC to have a specific key to do a 180 turn in the game. Like, legit 180 turn in the game with one button, which is, you know, crazy in my opinion, but apparently that's what we get. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and start the video, talk about everything we have here. Just keep in mind to go down in the comment section, let me know what you think about the video and everything we talk about here about Battlefield 6. The news, crossplay, and cheating, especially if you're a console player. Let me know what your thoughts on about crossplay and let me know if you are leaving it on or you're going to just turn it off. First of all, the entire article of that interview is summarized by Battlefield Bulletin, so I'm reading based off of what they're actually found out interesting. Ripple Effect is encouraging players on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S to keep crossplay on in Battlefield 6, even if they can't promise that there will be zero cheaters on PC. In a recent interview with IGN, technical director Christian Bull said Ripple Effect is being extremely aggressive against PC cheaters, but cheaters will always be there since it's a never-ending cat-and-mouse game. Quote, "We're doing a lot on PC side to clamp down on cheating as much as possible. We have a whole team within Battlefield dedicated to anti-cheat, which includes engineers, analysts who are reviewing things and banning players and figuring out what the latest cheats are. We have another whole dedicated team at EA to anti-cheat that we work closely with." Moreover, senior console combat designer Matthew Nickerson said crossplay will be on by default when a player loads into Battlefield 6 for the first time, but console users who turn it off will limit their pools to the PlayStation and Xbox communities. Quote, "You don't want to play a game and feel like a bunch of people on the other side are cheating. I hope console players feel confident enough in what we're doing for cheating on the PC side that they don't feel like they want to turn crossplay off just for that reason. If they do want to, that is an available option for them, but we think it's super important for PC and console players to be confident that most of the people that they're playing with or against are not cheating. And we're putting a huge amount of effort into that." Now, like it or not, even PC players who play fair and square don't really like to see cheaters everywhere. And it's something that also we as PC gamers deal with. Like, it's not a console only thing, okay? But I believe a lot of console players are actually complaining about crossplay simply because they believe that PC players are just superior. Like, in every single aspect, they will be outgunning them. They will be outplaying them every single time. And that, in my opinion, is just not true. You can only get so far with a good aim in Battlefield. There are so many things that come into play, things like positioning. Positioning is actually a lot more important in my opinion. In an FPS game, timing is also something that you have to always consider. Sometimes the timing is on your side, sometimes it isn't. Sometimes the enemy gets lucky with a better timing, sometimes you get lucky with a better timing, and there's just a lot more to consider when it comes to it. So if you're a console player and you think that PC players are superior just because they're PC players and they have mouse and keyboard, in my opinion, you're just wrong and you have to just work on that mindset. Ripple Effect says that they didn't want Battlefield 6 to suffer from leaks, but getting players' feedback had to come at any cost. Following IGN's interview, technical director Christian Bull talked about their approach to Battlefield 6 leaks and how Ripple Effect made it a little bit harder for people to leak things, but kept its sights set on one goal: get the game in front of players even though they know it will end up leaking. Quote, "I remember at one point making a big presentation that said, what will leak? Everything. Like, we just started with that assumption that things would leak. Now, to be clear, we didn't want things to leak. We weren't seeking leaks, but we knew that the most important thing was to get the game in front of players get real feedback from players, get real telemetry, real data, and that had to come at any cost, including the fact that things would leak. In a modern game, in a modern testing environment, like it or not, people will not care about NDA. People will not care about, not leaking stuff that they shouldn't leak. And that will happen, like it or not, sooner or later, at some point, things will leak, and developers most of the times really can't do anything about it. Alright, so let's talk about performance now. Ripple Effect says Battlefield 6's PS5 Pro version runs at 4K on fidelity mode and will be locked at 60 FPS and 1620p on performance mode with a higher frame rate. PS5 and Xbox Series X run at 1440p on fidelity mode and 1280p on performance mode, 70 to 110 FPS on performance mode, and 85 FPS on average. Xbox Series S runs at 1080p. According to technical director Christian Bull, it does run very solidly at 60 FPS despite they did have to tune some levels and make changes to make sure that happens. Quote, "We turned down some fidelity settings in Series S, both to hit our performance targets and to lower the amount of memory. The biggest challenge for us, honestly, was memory. Much less than the other consoles, also less than our mid-spec PC. So that was our biggest challenge, making sure that all of our levels could fit into the memory on that Series S. So it appears that they had some hard time, configuring things on different consoles, optimizing the game on those consoles as well. But I hope they're not neglecting PC because, because of DLSS and multi-frame generation and all those kind of things that, is circling around the PC world right now, developers don't really care about performance and optimization anymore because, there's DLSS and you can have as much performance and FPS as you want. That is now becoming some sort of poison in PC gaming. And I hope Battlefield 6 developers actually put some time and energy on optimizing the game on PC as well so everyone can play nicely. But moving on, we have some interesting stuff about auto spotting. And they're basically just toning it down, nerfing it to the ground. And in my opinion, that's rightfully so. Now, before we start to get into this, let me tell you what auto spotting actually means. Let's say you're aiming somewhere and there are enemies, back there. You can see them technically, but you might not know if they're friendly or enemy or, that kind of stuff. You see that orange diamond that pops up on top of the head of your enemy? That's called auto spotting, and it doesn't spot people actually. You just aiming at someone doesn't spot them. Others can't see them on the minimap, but it's some sort of indicator for you to know that you're actually looking at an enemy, not a friendly. Okay, so auto spotting is basically just having that orange diamond indicator on top of your enemy to know that there are actually enemies. And that was really OP in the open beta, because people would hide in the bushes, people would just go in places where you couldn't basically see them, but the auto spotting or that orange diamond indicator would easily just show them to you and you could take them down easily. Now about that, Ripple Effect has made some considerable changes to the auto spotting system in Battlefield 6 by reducing both the range and its duration since open beta. Quote, "We found out a lot in open beta that it was obviously very strong, just like players said. Really, players ended up just shooting Doritos, light environments, dark environments. They were just like, hey, aim at the Dorito. You're going to hit something at the end of the day. We definitely don't want that for Battlefield, so we've definitely reduced the duration, reduced the range, everything across the board to really hit that system and align it more appropriately with what we want. Again, we want the information. It's important to ping players, but it's got to be an active part of Battlefield. It just can't be a fire and forget sweep across the whole thing. And everyone's lit up. That was very apparent in open beta, so we've made some considerable changes to the system. In terms of strength overall, we've definitely toned it down. And in my opinion, that's a very good change. Honestly, you shouldn't be able to just tell where people are by looking at somewhere from 200 meters away, especially for snipers because they see a wide range of the map just by aiming down sights, and reducing the range, in my opinion, would be a move in the right direction. So they're doing a very good job here, in my opinion. The fact that they've actually spotted the problem and they're now acting accordingly, that's a really good sign that we're on the right track for this thing. Technical director Christian Bull told IGN that Battlefield 6's cosmetics will be grounded based on a realistic shooter, but only for a while. Now, in my opinion, Battlefield Bulletin kind of misunderstood what's going on here, but let's see what Christian Bull actually said. Quote, "Other games can and should be whatever they want to be, right?" And he laughs here. Like we're not, I don't know. Fortnite is pretty goofy and that game is pretty good. So I think where we end up is we're pretty happy with where we are. We are a gritty, grounded, realistic shooter. That's what we intend to be, and that's what the game is going to look like for a while. Now, for a while doesn't mean it's gonna look like that for 2 seasons. For a while here means it's gonna look like that in the long shot for a few years at least. Okay, maybe that's just, choosing some wrong set of words here by Christian Bull, but honestly, it's obvious that he's not basically shitting on the game that he is making by saying it's gonna stay grounded for a while in like 2 seasons. That's not what he means. He means that it's going to be like that, grounded, gritty, and realistic for a while. And in my opinion, for a while here means for quite some time, for a few years at least. So in my opinion, it's just some sort of misinterpretation, most likely, or at least that's what I think that is. And finally, let's talk about this key binding option of doing some sort of 180 with the press of a button. Ripple Effect claims that the flick stick mechanic, which allows controller players to achieve an instant 180 degrees turn in combat, was added into Battlefield 6 for a balancing reason when playing against mouse and keyboard players. In a recent interview with Kotaku, Matthews said the inherent issue of including aim assist on controller is that you constantly are doing a big sweeping motion while looking around. You're constantly going full speed and then you hit the bubbles of aim assist and it automatically slows down. So you're kind of constantly fighting these systems that are preventing you from quickly 180 turning. According to Matthew, adding a quick flip option in Battlefield 6 was a huge win that solved a lot of issues in this particular case, and one more way to keep crossplay competitive for all. Quote, you get shot in the back and it's frustrating to be a control player those days. Another reason why Ripple Effect added this system was to add more ways to interact with the game despite gamepads having far fewer buttons than a keyboard. Now, let's be honest about this. In my opinion, this is just stupid because, like it or not, whether you're a PC gamer or a console player, doesn't really matter in my opinion. If someone catches you from behind and they don't have a potato aim, like basically they're an average player, you're dead. Especially in Battlefield 6 with that TTK that you guys probably know about, you're just going to be dead. So what's the point of having some sort of button to do a 180 turn in combat? What's going on here, honestly? And what's interesting is this is not just for console players. This is also for PC players as well. You can do whatever you want with this. You can set a key and do 180 turns. Simple as that. Honestly, chances of you getting shot in the back, doing a quick turn, looking at your enemy, start shooting at them, and actually getting a kill and leaving that scenario alive are really slim. And if this option is solely because of that situation, in my opinion, this is just straight up stupid. This is not something that makes sense to me because 99% of the times, if someone catches you from behind, starts shooting at you, you're dead. Sorry, but that's just reality. And I'm pretty sure new things will drop about this entire key binding option in the future. So I'm just going to leave it here. Too much extra stuff, and leave it at that for future to see what they have to say about that. So that's all about today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed and hope this video was somewhat informative. Again, make sure to go down in the comment section, let me know what you think, especially about this entire 180 turn option that they're adding to the game. If you're on console or PC, just let me know what you think, and that's going to be really appreciated. Thank you all guys for watching, and until next time guys, stay cool.